let me into my zone. Please don't let me into my zone. 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 Please don't let.
Well, welcome back to Krown's Kiddo Cave for a very late Sunday morning over here from kind of a bright and sunshiny Helsinki, Finland, but also rainy at the same time. It doesn't even make sense how that works. But anyways, we have a lot to talk about with Bitcoin today, taking that northern path that we spoke about yesterday, or actually not the thing that I was really looking for, especially to happen over the weekend. I was looking for this to happen over the week's price action. So that does change around a few things, but that does mean that we have a few new things to be, a few more long-term things to be aware of as this new week gets started a little bit later tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So very, 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 very important for the bigger picture. For the smaller term time frames, I probably won't comment too much on them today as we'll get into why once we get into the actual analysis, but I do want to make an announcement before we get into that the Krown Trading application is now 100% live. Well, it's not 100% live. It's actually the first page is live, and even then on the first page still have a few more things to be fleshed out there, but it is now available for public use, and we will be building it out with each and every passing week for the next couple months or so. It'll probably be complete as there's a lot of things to add, and we have humongous plans with this baby. It goes without saying that the base application is 100% free, and I think I should also let you know what it is. It's at crowntrading.net. The link's in the description below. Anyways, cool. Let's get into the live scene over here because I would really like to talk about some Bitcoin price action. And but first things first, I'd like to wish you the best of the best and the happiest of the happiest. And I would also like to press this button over here and teleport into that beautiful live scene, baby. And there she is, Bitcoin on the daily. And I just want to cover up yesterday's price action really, really quickly here. So I was actually looking for a pullback during this weekend's price action, which does kind of throw things off a little bit more for me. The reason why I say that isn't because Bitcoin was destined to have a pullback. Yes, it's building up some divergences on some medium time frames, which are still now present and makes things a little bit more difficult. But more importantly, when this price action happens over a weekend, it does make me a little bit skeptical because typically you want the more decisive price action to be happening during the week's during the week's trading activity, meaning that when the professionals, like all the people on trade on CME, on Backed, on all these major exchanges, when they're trading, the professional people, they're typically, operating off of a Wall Street schedule, meaning that they, do the Monday to the Friday thing from 9:30 a.m. Eastern time to 4 p.m. Eastern time. So it does throw me a little bit for a loop, and it is a little bit... It is a little bit of a hairy situation that we did have this break to the upside happen during the weekend. I really wanted to see this happen tomorrow, or at least starting after we got the new weekly. But hey, with all that said, let's actually get into it right now. So I'm going to be focused on a little bit more of higher time frames today as it is a long-term analysis video. And first things first, what I do really like about what's going on here is we are going to get the death cross, but the golden cross on the 12-hour. We've been speaking about this for the last few days, and it is pretty much all but inevitable here, dare I say. And as it stands, we are probably about 2 closes away at the very most, barring any sort of a massive run back down below 82 to 8,300. And I'll maintain my position for the medium term. I'm still bullish as long as we're above that critical 82 to 8,300-ish area right here, this last little base that we set in. That's also going to be the last kind of daily consolidation region. In fact, actually, with that last move to the upside, we do see that that gets to get moved up to a little bit more to around 87, 8,800. But I would say for a more prominent region, Bitcoin is still bullish on a medium time frame as long as we're maintaining this area right here. Does mean that we could come all the way back down. I'm not necessarily saying that we're going to come all the way back down, but it just wouldn't destroy macro structure. And you do see, more importantly, coming off this area, as long as we maintain above the 200 exponential, or sorry, above about 8,200, 8,300 especially on the daily right here, it is inevitable we will get the golden cross on the daily as well. So that 12-hour can have massive implications leading up more and more and more. And I just want to do a little bit of a deep dive into this region right now because you do see that longer term, the golden cross and death cross on the 12-hour has been pretty fucking phenomenal in getting the general market cycles pretty much right. The last time that we've seen both the death cross and a golden cross, it led us up the whole way, essentially getting the golden cross right here, right around about $4,000, going all the way to 14, and same thing for the death cross right on over here, going all the way from about 12 to 3. So there are a few examples in the past where we do see that we get a few one-offs here and there after some shaking market cycles. I think this would be probably the best example right here on this failed rally during 2015. But you do see that once we start kind of flipping those guys around, it does really speak to the impact of the long-term momentum. And of course, if we see the daily kind of follow through after that, I do believe that that's going to be extra confirmation, at least for myself. And remember, these are exponential, so they're much more powerful when it comes to crosses than simples. So anyways, going back to our current price action, like I said, it is barring any sort of like a $1,000 move to the downside pretty much from here in this next day or so. It is inevitable that we look at the cross. Here's the thing though, I actually would be looking for, and I dare I fucking say this right now, especially after yesterday when I was really looking for yesterday. This is what I really wanted to see yesterday, as it would have made things so much more easier. I wanted to see a move down and test around the 21 exponential moving average as these guys get golden cross sometime today. That would have been your classic fucking play, at least in my experience, to be a buyer right there and then get that next leg up, which probably leads us somewhere around our last prior high in the weekly, somewhere right around 95, 9600 region. For right now, it makes things a little bit more difficult because Bitcoin taking that next leg up is going to drag everything else along with it. And where are these guys going to be sitting now? Yeah, the 10 simple is just really flying up there. It's actually all the way at 8850-ish region. So it could operate off this pretty damn well. But typically when you do see a good cross, and this is what I really want to focus on for a second here, when you see like an efficacious cross, like one of the ones that are actually likely to really work out long term, there's something very specific that you're looking for. It's covered in the TA program, of course. So people who have watched the EMA module, if you're not clear on this concept, just go back to it. But basically what we're looking for here, to kind of like spill the beans, is we're looking for a pullback as these guys cross into one of the major moving averages. And in this case, we're pretty far away right now. So that is why taking that leg up yesterday night, or at least for myself yesterday night, deep inside the night, it does kind of, it's not exactly like the picture of perfect. You want to see something like this when these guys cross around, when they're being pulled into the moving averages and then buoyed up. It's telling you that the bots and algos are basically on the same side of that cross. Over here, it's going to be a little more difficult, but I do believe that you could use still the 21 exponential moving average, which is going to be crawling up to that 8600-ish level, early this week essentially. So I would still look at that area as a potential like quick down area to kind of wash out some over leveraged longs, and I would be looking for a strong bounce there. And probably, if this cross is going to work out, that's probably going to be the area or like the big dip, if you want to call it that, as we let the lower time frame also just cool off once again. So I'll briefly go through the low time frames here. Like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on them, but it goes without saying we're building a lot of divergences. The Jewel is going to be building up some signals as well. We didn't quite get the signal yesterday, but it will be coming. It will be coming maybe like 3 days, perhaps somewhere right around here, which would still be in like 3 or 4 days. So actually, man, can more damage be done to the upside? Actually, yes. I'm curious what the other higher time frames are kind of suggesting right now. 6 hour, not there yet. 8 hour, not there yet. 10 hour, not there yet. 12 hour is obviously not going to be there, but they're all getting, way up there. So, do we have another push to the upside first? I suppose it's possible. That's why I really don't want to commit to the lower timeframes right now. I don't feel that confident on them is really the answer. I feel embarrassed to be wrong about yesterday too. Like I actually did want to see a pullback down to about 87, 8600-ish region. We got down to 88, which is that's not what it's looking for. Quite seriously. But we are going to see historical volatility percentile get crushed now on some pretty prominent time frames. We're seeing 4 hours starting to, or sorry, 4 hours. Are we still contracting here? I would say that based off the moving average, we are still contracting here. But we're getting very, 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 very tight within this region. So I would be looking for a nice pivot coming up. Then again, I go to the 3 hour and we're kind of moving up here and we're back above the moving average. Let's see what our other lower time frames say. Okay, 2 hours expanding, hourly's expanding. You know what? I'm wrong about the 4 hour. It's the 1, 2, and 3 to be focusing on. They are expanding right now. This is probably going to come with expansion as well. So this is actually, a sustainable move, which is quite interesting to me. Like I said, divergences will be building on just about every time frame at this point. But we don't really have it confirmed. It's not, the thing with the lower time frames, and as you've been seeing, there have been divergences confirmed on the lower time frames, like 4 hour, which is typically a good one. But when you do get in these strong moves, they're not the ones that are going to revert a long-term macro trend. So that does speak to the strength of this asset longer term. that this isn't just like a short-term thing. Most likely, we are going to have our oscillations both up and down, but it's a higher time frames that are still kind of building it up. Like we will have divergence. We will very likely have divergence here on 12-hour. I mean, we're making obviously way higher highs above this guy right here, but we don't necessarily have a local high just yet. And every time that we get close to confirming a local high, it just doesn't happen. So the better way to have been looking at it from my perspective yesterday, kind of criticizing myself here now, is that what I should have done is I should have looked at the 12-hour and said, hey, while divergence is building here, we don't have it confirmed until we still really start closing back below 8,800, which it just did not happen. You see a few wicks down to test around here, but notice how the wicks are also rising as well. That's strength right there, and my inability to focus on that during the weekend and instead look at like a 4-hour thing made me maybe pretty much miss that last move. So that's my bad right there, man. And I always want to be very, very direct in saying that I'm not a perfect trader. I do this for a living, and it's all well and good, but I still make mistakes. I still, there's a degree of error when it comes to technical analysis. It's only statistics that are working in your favor. So at some point they will be against you. But this one I should have known better on to use a higher time frame when we're kind of trending on more of a macro scale here. Anyways, as it does stand, we do see that 12-hour stocks are getting pretty damn hot over here. They are having a fresh cross the upside. However, I very rarely do we see it stay in this range for too much longer, but fair enough. It could have another leg up, and at this point, we're kind of, at this point, we did kind of test the next blue box territory. We got a thick wick deep inside that blue box sugar walls, but what I'm looking, hey, what are you laughing at? Got some smiley bitches back around here. Anyways, yeah. So as far as the low time frames go, if I had to wrap it up for a second. Any sort of a 4-hour delta close back above 9,200, and I would look for that extension to the next targeted region, which is going to be weekly resistance right around 95-ish region, right around here. Basically, our last prior high. That's where things start to get interesting, very, very interesting once again. And keeping in mind that the 12-hour golden cross is pretty much. Again, barring any sort of like a major, $1,000 red dildo in your face, it will happen. I would say that, the second that we get, or not the second, but if we do get even like a 2-hour dildo closing above here, this is the time where you can probably start to use lower time frames once again, as far as like looking at level to level. I would be looking for a move up there. So another $300, $400 move in the cards. And that's very much tradable at this price point. And that's where the macro really starts to get interesting once again, as we will be creating higher highs on the weekly. Anyways, while we are here on the 4-hour, I should say that 4-hour Stokes, they're getting very mature here, of course. We do see that this trend line is running out of a little bit of space. Typically, when you do, I don't want to commit to saying anything on the lower time frames right now, if you can see. But typically, when you do see, a crawl around this area and get this tight, along a more aggressive trend line, that's typically around the time when it starts to get a little more top heavy. I'm curious if the 3 hours already falling through. It's getting a little bit tired there, but they're actually not that bad, and the 3-hour trend line is a little bit more forgiving here too. In fact, kind of protecting against the neutral zone, it looks like. So this is still constructive. To be fair, it's still constructive on the lower time frames. I ain't trading it right now. I don't like trading on the weekends. Unless it's like a very obvious thing. If I was awake for this move up here, I was not. I would have liked to have shorted that move just for a quick scalp. Not because I think that Bitcoin's going down to the fucking abyss, but as far as that goes, that would be the point of reference for the upside, about 9,200, and I'd say probably very, very least 2-hour, 4-hour probably gets it pretty damn well done. By the same token, any sort of a 4-hour delta close below this guy right here, 89.50, and I would look for another foray into this blue box territory. But actually, what we're going to do here is this blue box I thought was in, we're just going to make it all blue, so I can't be wrong. That's right, man. Krown cannot be wrong. No, you just do it like this. I don't believe that is relevant right there, actually. What I really want to be getting is the bottom of this consolidation between about 8,600 and 8,650-ish region. I don't really have a strong opinion on the median of this area right here. I would just be going level by level, but I do look at this as kind of like the more interim support for the medium time frames. And as long as Bitcoin's above there, it's still actually medium term bullish, to be fair. And 82 to 8,300 is like the big bad area for the bulls to hold. I think probably the weekly 21s may be coming around that region as well. So as long as we're above the, as long as we're especially above this guy, I'm fine. I'll fucking say it, but I wouldn't mind a pullback down to this blue box right here. Fair enough, but I'm, full disclosure, I'm not trading this right now. So yeah, man, I was actually quite surprised to see that on the on our lower time frame oscillators, they are gonna get those nice splurts pretty damn well there. So fair enough. And with volatility expanding on the 1, 2, and 3 hour and starting to expand on the 4 hour, it's gonna get interesting. It's gonna get very interesting. We also do see that we have some sort of a formation going on right here. I'm not necessarily sure that what we have just yet. I suppose it would be some sort of a rising channel right now, but I also don't think that we have enough information to really analyze it just yet. But that would also be a little bit interesting to me as well. Kind of creating a nice, it would suggest a base support somewhere right around here. So it would say that 89.50 area is a big level. And if we do break 89.50, while 8800 is probably going to provide a short-term bounce, we very likely would head down to about 86 to 86.50ish region. Completely fine. Again, that actually, in my opinion, that actually be quite healthy for Bitcoin to do here and still maintain its, kind of long-term, more higher time frame, medium time frame, good posturing here. Anyways, that's enough for the lower time frames. Go back on. We already talked about the 12-hour. Let's talk about the daily now for a second. So again, as long as the daily maintains above the 200 exponential moving average, which again is that critical 8200-ish number, which I'm kind of creating a zone there between 82 and 83 in this last consolidation before that nice breakout, Bitcoin will get the golden cross on the daily. If Bitcoin does get the golden cross on the daily, well, again, also a phenomenal, it's going to be a little bit later than the 12-hour, but a phenomenal indication nonetheless. Not always going to be perfect, but doesn't need to be in order to make money. And hold on, let me pull up another chart. Yeah, there we go. You can actually see that the 12-hour gets things a little bit better. In fact, you do get a fake out in 2018 with the death cross right here. Now, of course, this was coming off of this is coming off still just lower highs on an overall downtrend, but both these guys, both them going at the same time probably does bode well for Bitcoin. Now, contrary to that, back in 2014, 2015, didn't have the same sort of one-off that you see on the 12-hour. So, you got to pick your poison, but overall does set in that longer term. And I would just like to point out that while Bitcoin, could pull back to that 8600-ish number, which would be around the 10 simple on the daily now, which again, would be nice. I would be looking for a bounce there, to be very direct. Could that come, sometime this week? I think for me to say something like that would be like not appropriate. I would think that just going level by level is going to get this one more or less right here. We do see that daily RSI has been the key critical point. We've been speaking about this quite a bit. We had not only a change of behavior here on the long term, but there's no divergences to be built up here, and I would only look for divergence on a 12-hour at the minimum, but preferably a daily to reverse around a medium time frame trend, or at least provide like a nice long form consolidation. And right now you can see that we're nowhere near doing anything like that, and your divergences typically don't come until the critical zones anyways. So looking at this right here, I just want to point out that Bitcoin being rejected from the bullish control zone ever since June of 2019, which was basically this run from this run to 14,000, going all the way up, baby. So my point is with that is that we actually have, that was a key critical point that we've been focusing on for the past week or so since it's happened, as we actually have been maintaining above this region, and that is indicative of a change of behavior. And again, another one of the advantages of using an indicator like that. It does, that does give us insight a little bit earlier than just going, by weekly trend, right? Because weekly trend is still, obviously in a downtrend as long as we're below about 9,500. That's just, I'm not saying that it can't revert, but it's technicality as of this point. We do see that, what else do I want to say? I'm curious how far back this goes. No, not so much. Okay, cool. Anyways, to me, this is a really big deal just because, all these last failed rally attempts were coming off of rejections off the bullish control zone. And to have a consolidation right here and then break back above it, that's that's constructive over the long period of time. Same thing with the 2-day, a little bit more obvious here. However, range is a little bit different. In fact, I would say that the 2-day and 3-day don't get it as well, but the weekly will show in a bit, does do pretty damn well. I want to follow up on the 2-day jewel buy signal right here, which we got, about a month ago. Or actually, not a month ago. This was early January. This was more of like a holiday long signal. This was kind of the more obvious buy, or it's not an obvious buy signal, but your more 2-day-ish buy signal right here, just because you're not going to get them perfect on those timeframes typically. Going back down to the daily, did we get one right here? Did get one right here, but yeah, this guy right here, basically the same thing. Anyways, okay, cool. All right, what else do we want to talk about? Is there anything to be aware of on the 3-day? 3-day close last night. 3-day had a decent close. What does the 3-day look like here? It's not really telling us anything that we're not going to get from the weekly, so I suppose I'll just go into that. We do see, though, that historic volatility percentile on the 3-day is absolutely crushed. So this asset can get quite hot, quite fast as far as the macro goes. Anytime that we've come down to this region, these have been major moves. We haven't even got down to this region since, February of 2019. So that was pretty much on the lows of Bitcoin at 3,300, 3,400. And this is October 2018 right here. So that was before the 50% breakdown from 6,000 to 3,000. To put it more in perspective, another example right here on this major breakdown. Another example, how far back do we have to go to get another example? Yeah, another example on this major consolidation right here before an extremely impressive breakout, and a few more before that of the same nature. So we are coming up to a macro area, so everything's kind of coinciding with each other. So we are going to be hitting a major, massive pivot on the market. Obviously, as long as Bitcoin's, again, below 9,500, it is technically in a downtrend, and we'll focus on the weekly now, and I really want to spend some time here. As weekly trend, of course, all the reversals on the weekly for Bitcoin have led up to all of your major massive moves, and all the reversals to the downside, all the major 70% moves to the downside. And the weekly also, similar to the daily, having a change of behavior. We do see that the weekly RSI is maintaining above the exponential for the first time since when? Since fucking June, July of 2019 on that run to 14,000. And also, more importantly, you see on the weekly RSI here in the neutral zone between about 55 and 56, we do see that historically speaking, this has actually got Bitcoin's bull and bear markets really fucking well. In fact, let me actually expand this just a little bit more. So you do see that when Bitcoin's in a bull market, as it was in 2012 to what was this, like 2014 over here, Bitcoin on weekly RSI would come down to base upon this level during its intense down moves, but it never really broke it, and those were actually major buy opportunities for that time period. By the same token, to the contrary, when Bitcoin was living below right here, these were as exceptional sell points, right, during your bear market. So once we break back above that in 2015 October, that was quite literally the earliest signal of your turnaround, even before the weekly trend technically reversed itself. And what happens after that? Massive, girthy bull dildos in your face once again. So it's it's pretty damn good. And again, look at where we bottomed out during all of that run on the same exact area. And where did Bitcoin kind of lose its luster in 2018? You guessed it. Where did Bitcoin lose its luster, or actually where did it gain its luster more appropriately? First in early 2019, right here on this major run back above it, and then breaks it right in over here on the break below 10.3, basically getting the weekly trend once again. A smidgen before you actually got confirmation. We have a disaster. Clean up on aisle 5. Anyways, so looking at this right on over here, we do see that Bitcoin's gonna have a chance to close above it. We're gonna have a chance to close above it. And that's going to be confirmed later tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And any sort of a tick above this last high right here in late October at 54.84, I do think is pretty damn good. And likely at the very least is going to align for a test of our prior high on the weekly. Again, about 9,500 right here, give or take about maybe $50, something like that. And if Bitcoin can close above it, which looking at a momentum oscillator does say that we do have some power here. Weekly Stokes have plenty of room and having their own little change of behavior back above the same area of breakdown since September of 2019. or going to have a chance to at least later tonight. Longer term does look like if Bitcoin is going to reverse, it probably does come from this rally, as I've been saying for the past couple weeks. Also, not only that, we do see the 21 exponential moving average on the weekly, which has been really, really phenomenal. Getting Bitcoin's price action is now not only are we well above it right now, I'm going to have a very strong chance. I'll kind of back off from saying some more aggressive, but a very strong chance of closing above it today. You know, we've all seen crazy shit. But it's getting a positive slope as well. Both very, very important. So you'll probably notice during 2018, Bitcoin did close above the 21 plenty of times, but it never got a positive slope. Sometimes it got a neutral, but it pretty much maintained negative the whole way through. Never getting that positive slope. So you would have avoided those, fake outs essentially. Just by having a little bit of slope analysis. We can take that a step further by adding a few more, but it doesn't really even need to be done right now. So I would say that would also be another change of behavior. And just historically speaking, Bitcoin using the 21 on the weekly has been more or less a little bit of a cheat code, dare I say, for the long term. Let me just make sure that I'm recording. I am recording. We're 25 minutes in, and my microphone's working, so that's really good because I don't want to record this video again. Tired as fuck, man. We do see that anytime Bitcoin's been above, essentially, especially on like an open and closed basis, those are your bull markets. Anytime that Bitcoin's been below on an open and closed basis, those are your bear markets. And we're gonna have our first chance to close. Did we close above last week? Close 81.80. Yeah, we did close above. Okay, so this is going to be. We're actually gonna have a chance to open and close above this region. Again, this doesn't mean that we can't have a pullback. I want to be very direct in saying this. Doesn't mean that we can't have a pullback. In fact, I think still like 8,600 would be a nice, healthy area. Maybe we move that up like another $100 to $200 in the coming days. But for right now, the longer term is starting, the macro picture is starting to shape up a little bit more lovingly. I also want to mention that weekly Stokes right here, popping off the same trend line that actually held us up from our February 2019 lows, coming in right in around, 3,300? Yeah, about 3,400 right here, getting this low right here. Then more recently getting this low right here on that same trend line. And then, of course, the last one that we just got right here. So all that coinciding with the with weekly RSI. Plus, we're seeing, we're also going to see historical volatility percentile on the 3-day start to expand. It does really make you think that Bitcoin has a very, very strong chance of actually reverting the macro trend here. And if I had to call it, I actually do think that it happens. I don't have like a time frame for that. When you're looking at a weekly, you're probably thinking like a month to a month and a half time frame for a signal like that. I'd imagine, at least in my experience, that's what it's been. So the thing is that 3-day historical volatility percentile would suggest that actually probably comes sooner rather than later. So as far as a timing aspect of it, I'd look for like half that time frame, aka the 3-day, to tell us on the volatility. And it's really, 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 really low right now, and we've only been this low a few times in Bitcoin's history. I forgot to mention a few other things. Let's actually get back on all these babies, right? Or actually, we don't even need these babies right now, but I do want to put them back on. We're actually going to take them off right after this, get naked on these charts, and only to put on some more clothes. I can put on the Troll bands right here. We spoke about this on the Twitch stream a few days ago, and I want to give who was it? Someone called this one out because I don't typically watch the Troll bands, but Bitcoin got its first 3-day close above, about a week ago, and then of course our first open and close above, a few days ago, and that was a big deal. And whenever we get something like that, as these bands start to expand, we probably are going to trend a little bit more here. And 3-day Stokes getting a little bit up there, getting a little bit hot. But doesn't mean that we, it probably aligns with the test of this region, and then we probably go a little bit sideways. So if I had to call it the more medium time frame picture here, I'd say, does Bitcoin pop down first a little bit? I don't have a strong opinion on that, but I do have a strong opinion on Bitcoin probably hitting this region right here at about 95, and then going a little bit sideways, probably down after that, perhaps consolidating for a little, for a few weeks, and then I look for another pushy upside if this thing is going to actually flip around to macro bullish, which is looking better and better by the day. I do want to also bring up this. I want to bring up the good old hash ribbons, the hash browns over here. I always like to kind of focus on these because there are a few interesting things with this. Anytime that we've gotten a buy signal on the hash ribbons, And this being a fundamental indicator does, is of interest here. Anytime that we've gotten a buy signal on the hash ribbons, we do see that the low was put in beforehand. Now, it doesn't mean that Bitcoin can't come back down to that low, but the low for that cycle was in. Bitcoin did not close lower on a daily closing basis ever on any signal. And we can go back and back test this. I suggest that you do the same. Don't take my word for it. Verify or don't trust. Verify or whatever the fuck that is. We got the buy signal right here. That was coming off this region right here. The low prior was already set in. We do not close below that, but we do come damn close to it. So terrible for a timer, but good for a cycler, I suppose. This one over here happened to be a really good timing one, and not the best timing one, but decent enough. Bitcoin doesn't really trade lower after that signal. Just kind of marches its way up and just slides up. This one over here, terrible timer, but was the low already in? Yes. This one over here, even worse timer. Was the low already in? Yes. This one over here, even a worse timer. Was the low already in? Yes. And then a few other examples back near the Genesis, back one over here. Really good timer, actually. This guy over here, pretty damn good one as well. This one over here, a little bit less good, but okay. And of course, on all these examples, and including this one at the beginning, all of those were the low. The low had already been put in, and of course, we did get one which would correlate with our 6,400 low right here. So if Bitcoin were to get rejected at this region right here, speaking to the macro once again, it did kind of pull back into some of these more prominent crosses. Things could get nasty. However, I would not look for, historically speaking, Bitcoin to close below this last prior low right here. As it stands right now, I think I missed like the most obvious thing. I missed the most fucking obvious thing to talk about. Holy shit. 200 simple on the daily, right where price action is right now. I would like to see both an open and close above it to confirm a break to the upside, and that would really help flesh out that next target towards 9,500-ish region. For now, I do have a very strong rule. Do not long into the 200 simple, and it does have a negative slope on it. And I should speak to the contrary side now. Speak to the bearish case for a second here. That we do have a very similar. Yeah, we still do have a very similar signature over here on all the major moving averages to what we had a few other times in Bitcoin's past. This one over here is what I'll kind of put the spotlight on, but Bitcoin getting rejected from the 200 simple moving average in 2018 on this failed rally attempt, spot 1, spot 2, and then gets a death cross right here between the green and the purple, gets all lower periods below higher periods right here between the cyan and the purple, then gets all the negative slopes on all major moving averages and is trending below and continuing to trend as long as we remain below the yellow 20-minute exponential moving average the whole way through. And once Bitcoin regains it, then it launches up a massive rally up to the 200 simple and gets rejected there to play out some more downside. And also of interest, we did have this long-term downtrend coming in from our January highs right here. Well, this is quite similar to what we're looking at right now, although if I were to use wicks, not so much. If I were to use dildo bodies, then actually yes. And what do we see right here? We see something very, very similar with the moving averages. Bitcoin gets rejected from the 200 simple on this failed rally attempt. Again, not exact, but doesn't need to be because it's the same fucking fractal. Then we get the death cross right here, green and purple. Then we get all lower periods below higher periods right here with cyan and purple. Then we get all major moving averages with negative slopes. Bitcoin's trending to the downside as long as we're below the yellow 21. Once Bitcoin regains it, boom, massive rally up to the 200 simple, which is also in line with that long-term downtrend. If we are going to be doing it from dildo bodies, which I do believe is more, I do believe is more accurate, at least in my experience. Now, of course, if you're using Wix, it's already been broken, and plenty of people using Wix right now. Fair enough. I think that there's some validity to that, and like I said, things are interesting here for both sides. I really don't want to commit right now to either side, really, because if the Bulls win this battle right here, it's still got to deal with 9,500. More of a technicality at that point. I do think that the 200 simple on the daily is going to be pretty fucking big area, regardless. By the same token, as long as we're below there, technically the macro trend is still down. Anyways, let's go check out expected moves chart and see what's more likely to happen today. We do see, wow, this is actually expanding quite a bit here. So we are seeing volatility. That would speak to the volatility actually kind of rising up on those lower, on those time frames. We do see the top side of the first standard deviation coming in right around a little bit below 9,400. We do see the second standard deviation coming around 9,650. That's actually not lining up with too much of what I'm looking at right now. So I'm a little bit lost here, actually. First standard deviation to the downside is coming around 8,800-ish region, a little bit below there. So I'm pretty sure that's maybe around where CME's closed on Friday. Let's check them out. CME's closed Friday at 89.55. That would be about $100 price premium on spot price action. So that'd be when spot's around like 8,000 to 80.50-ish region. So, does Bitcoin come back down and fill the gap a little bit later today when CME's opens, I think, which is at 5 p.m. Eastern time? Probably yes, or sometime between, open of CME's today and then and then New York Stock Exchange open tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Would kind of make sense for for a fill right there, and probably an initial bounce, and then we'll come back and reassess after that. But other than that, I'm actually not getting too much off this. No, we are getting a lot off of this because this will rise up. Okay, so what is it saying today? It's probably saying today that we don't really move all that much. Famous last words, though. Famous last words. Like I said, I'm not interested in trading today because I don't feel like my edges are all there right now. I'm also a little bit underslept as well. So it's just I try to avoid doing mental activities such as trading when the brain ain't working all that well. Anyways, second standard deviation coming in right around 8,500. This is because I'm very, very confident on the ranges for Bitcoin spot. What this kind of leads me to believe is that we probably have some time to burn here, and then these guys start to line up tomorrow with all those regions. Because you see, they're all about $50 off or $200 off, which are likely going to be in those exact same regions tomorrow. Now, it's very bad. It's extremely bad of me to, extrapolate price action before it happens like that. But it would kind of make sense here. Everything would line up perfectly on that. Or if it does get hit today, then I'm just a day early, and well, fair enough. Anyways, okay, cool. So yeah, do keep in mind this region right here. We're obviously going to open up on a gap to very likely to the upside here, as spot price action is about $100 up, but CMEs have about $100 premium, so it'd be about a $200 difference from this price action right here. So do be defensive against that. Or at least this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I would say that is of interest here. Let's go check out. I want to check out something else that's really, really big that we've been following for the last 4 or 5 months. That really started to change around and take on a different meaning in this last week and a half, 2 weeks. And do we have it actually confirmed here? This is the Bitcoin VWAP ratio. So first, let me explain it. The Bitcoin VWAP ratio has actually been really, really good at getting all the major moves in Bitcoin's history. Anytime that we've seen, there's multiple things to be aware of here. But first and foremost is all of these different moving averages on the VWAP in relation to where my cursor currently is right now. Just kind of like run a regression through there in your mind's eye. Anytime that they're all above, generally bullish. Anytime they're all below, generally bearish. But there's more to it than that, because they all have different weighting different moving averages on that on that VWAP. And what does that mean? That means that the blue, which is the most reactive, is going to lead first and foremost. So we actually see that back above the regression line right now. More importantly, we do see that the purple and pink, which actually have led into all of the major macro changes, those are getting damn close as well. And the thing with this is that once we get historically speaking, once we get the purple above the pink above the regression, that is when Bitcoin is more or less in its full-on bull market. Example right here at the beginning of this region. Example right here. No. Example right here in this region. Coming off this move. Example right here in this region. Coming off this move. Example more recently right in over here. Although a little bit of a late indication. In fact, actually not all that good. But the fact is that they're all like with each other right now. They're all kind of like converging on each other. So I do expect this next signal given from it to be quite powerful. And if we could zoom in on this right now, let me just zoom in and pan it out. There we go. We can see that the purple is just a smidgen away from getting back above that pink. I don't think that, man, I wish that they had values on these things, or they do have values, but it's not very clear. It does actually look like the purple is above the pink, perhaps. 0.4, 0.6. Okay, so the purple is above. Perhaps we do actually have that right now. Holy shit. If I suppose I'd wait for one more close, but another pretty damn good thing here. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. I also want to check out this. So we're about a week and a half away from the monthly close. I don't think that this is like too relevant right now, because a lot can happen between now and end of month, or now and like another 10 days. That's a goddamn eternity in this game. But if the monthly does close above, especially like 8,500, that's going to set a nice base in the mid 8,000s to rally off of, and I would be more or less looking for a retest back up in the 5 digits actually. By the same token, if we do end the month below 83, 8,500-ish region especially, of course 83 obviously very important for the daily as well, so understand how all these things coincide with each other. This will start to look like a failed rally. So, I'm almost interested to just kind of scale it back right now and wait for some of these higher time frames to close, just because these are going to have some pretty massive implications with price action here. We do see that monthly RSI is going to be complete fake out. I mean, this looked really fucking bad to me a couple months ago. If this can get back above the exponential, that would look more or less healthy, and that will get it back above the exponential essentially with any sort of a close above 8,500. So that area is going to be critical here. So yeah, anyways, what else do we want to look at? Nothing to look at on traditional markets or Forex right now because they've been closed for the weekend. Let's go check out the general crypto sphere and see what they're doing right now. Let's see what Mr. Buterol's doing. Looks like he might get another stab up towards a 200 simple officially. Would probably be looking for a pullback there. 12 hours going to be building some divergences at that point, certainly. Yes, indeed it is. But not quite there just yet. Looking at Mrs. Litecoin. What do we have here? Same sort of thing, 200 simple looming overhead right around 64.7. I have an alert somewhere right around there, so I'm guessing that's what it's about. Anywhere between there and about 65.5 bucks, kind of where I'd be looking for, and probably pull back off that region. Going to be building some divergences on a 12-hour here as well. However, not there just yet, not confirmed. What else do we have? Stellar. What do we got on Stellar? Same thing, popping up right up towards resistance right here, right around the 200 simple. The whole mark's right there right now. Do we actually close above, or do we get rejected? I'd rather just wait and kind of watch price action to see, because the first pass was already rejected on most of these things. Approaching this region once again is actually more of a good sign than not. Typically that's when strength is building. Ripple me nipples, same sort of thing. Area right around 26.25. What do we have on EOS? EOS, looking a little more toppy here actually on EOS. This is the first one that's actually looked kind of toppy to me. Now the daily does not have bearish divergence on it, but certainly the 12-hour should. Yes, indeed it does. Yes, indeed it does. I'd probably be looking for it to come back down to like 360-ish region. Neo. Neo, building divergences as well. Needs to come back down below about 11.65, and that'll be confirmed. Tron, getting there, but not quite. Bcash, same thing, does have bearish divergence. So everything's kind of building right now. So let's start to put the puzzle pieces together and get the fuck out of here, because I am damn hungry, man. But overall, what are we looking at? Well, lower time frames, they're getting pretty hot here. They are getting pretty hot. I would say, dare I say once again, and I'm gonna sound so fucking silly if I'm wrong on this one again, but I really don't like on times like yesterday. I really don't like it when I'm wrong on those ones. It's a guilty thing. Obviously it shouldn't matter all that much. I didn't even fucking trade to begin with, but do things look a little bit more toppy to me here? Here's what I can say. Here's what I can say. As long as Bitcoin ain't closing, especially 4-hour deltas above 9,200 or even 2-hour deltas above 9,200, I do believe that we're probably going to see a short-term top being put in here. We probably come back down and fill the gap somewhere around like 8,800, 8,850. Probably have a small bounce there, and then after the bounce, does Bitcoin actually start to confirm some of those divergences on perhaps like the 12-hour, which is actually not even present right now. But if we do come back down below, if we do come back down below about 8,800, they will be confirmed. And at that point, I would target that move towards 8,600, which is going to be the 12-hour 21 exponential moving average as this golden cross does start to occur. I would look for a big bouncer and probably another try to the upside after that. We'll come back and reassess. And of course, could it be that 8,600 just breaks fully and Bitcoin does have a massive hunt attempt here, or sorry, a massive fake out attempt here, or well, it'd be pretty much completed there. possible, but still the macro area the medium term, long term area is still 8,200 to 8,300 based upon the daily, and that is extremely important right here. So as long as that area holds, still overall fine. If we did come back down below there, I would look for Bitcoin to base in like the mid 7,000s. So that starts to be like another almost $1,000 move. So very much interested in that as well. Anyways, that's gonna do it for right now, man. This video probably not all that helpful in the lower term timeframes. However, higher time frames is where the focus is on right now. And I probably won't be on Twitch today. I'm pretty exhausted myself. I certainly will be on tomorrow, and I think today I might just use to set up the new computer, of which I just realized that I won't be able to use it for streaming for like another week or so because I need to wait on another part that's coming. It's going to allow me to save a shit ton of space, which I'm really excited about. But shipping from China, so you don't know how long that's going to take. So anyways, man, I want to wish everyone a very happy and special Sunday. I'm wishing everyone the best as always, man, because why the fuck not? It's free to do, and well, everyone could use some well wishes. With that said, take care, and until next time.